In November, Microsoft and Sony launched their latest consoles, the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, and they quickly sold out. Move over, microwaves and toaster ovens. As countertop appliances go, air fryers are among the easiest to use. Demand remains high for the new consoles in most markets as Microsoft and Sony struggle to meet the demand. Despite the high demand for the new consoles, NPD analyst Mat Piscatella speaking with GamesIndustry has predicted the Nintendo Switch will outsell the PS5 and Xbox Series X in 2021. He says the release of new games and more promotion for the Switch will be the main driving force rather than the release of a new model. Despite the launch of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles, it will be the Nintendo Switch that ends up selling the most units of console hardware in 2021, said Piscatella. After a short preheat time and a quick cook and toss of prepped food, a meal can be ready in mere minutes. I will go a step further and suggest this will be driven by content and promotional efforts rather than the release of a new iterative model. Piscatella added that companies that remain flexible will have an advantage in 2021 as he expects the new year to be as unpredictable as 2020 was. This is not much of a quantifiable prediction, but there's little evidence that the coming months will end up being any more predictable than the past year, said Piscatella. I am expecting more game delays, continued challenges in production and distribution for gaming hardware and peripherals, potential significant shifts in consumer play behaviors given pandemic conditions within countries or regions, and unpredictable impact from changing economic conditions. The companies that can best navigate these uncertainties will have an advantage. It's so easy, in fact, you might overlook how it could get even easier by using some air fryer hacks. It's time to make the most of these miniature convection ovens. From streamlining the cooking process by using commonplace kitchen items to opening up your air fryer to new avenues of textures, techniques, and recipes, these tips and tricks are here to help you cut down even further on cooking time, keep the kitchen neat and tidy, and expand your air frying horizons. Consider the following to be your essential hacks for upping your air frying game in the kitchen and maybe impressing a few fellow air fryer aficionados along the way. Air fryers can be used for more than just frying. The name, in fact, doesn't say it all. This is no time to become enamored with a particular plan or timeline. A lifelong and avid gamer, William D'Angelo was first introduced to VG charts in 2007. Air fryers are known as a healthier alternative to frying food in oil while still giving food a nice brown and crispy exterior, and that makes them a go-to for cooking up frozen French fries and chicken wings. These handy kitchen devices have a few more cooking methods up their sleeve than simply frying. An air fryer's use of superheated air circulated inside of the device by a fan lets it cook quickly and evenly, and that makes them just as good for simulating deep frying as it is for baking and sautéing. Vegetables can be roasted, steaks can seared and, believe it or not, true believers swear by air fryers' capability to make dishes like pizza and roast beef. After years of supporting the site, he was brought on in 2010 as a junior analyst, working his way up to lead analyst in 2012. Even if an air fryer can't easily cook up as many portions as a conventional oven, they can also make a great companion to cooking main dishes on other appliances in the kitchen, from baking croutons for Caesar salads to toasting nuts for some à la minute garnish. You can convert any oven-based recipe for air frying. Air fryers may be able to perform the same tasks that an oven can, but if you want to replicate one of your favorite oven-based recipes, it isn't as easy as throwing in food and cooking it at the same temperature. This is primarily due to the difference in cooking methods of the two appliances. By the same measure, you don't need to make what you want in a way that's especially designed for an air fryer. Some recipes simply won't taste the same if they're tweaked excessively. That's where author and YouTuber Candace Hutchings, aka The Edgy Veg, comes in. She's detailed her own air fryer hack that's as simple as lowering the cooking temperature by approximately 25 degrees Fahrenheit while reducing cooking time by 20%. He has expanded his involvement in the gaming community by producing content on his own YouTube channel and Twitch channel dedicated to gaming let's plays and tutorials. For example, if the oven recipe states 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes, cook in the air fryer at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 16 minutes, opening halfway to shake the basket and flip the food, she writes.
Use an air fryer instead of a microwave for crispier leftovers. Microwaves have been around for so long that they're usually relied on as the solution to quickly reheating leftovers. Some foods, however, you shouldn't reheat in the microwave. You can contact the author at wdangelo@vgcharts.com or on Twitter at trunkswd. More articles. Because microwaves heat the water inside of food, microwaves are often machines of extremes. They can either dry out what they cook without giving it a delicious crispy texture or can turn something into hot mush. That's what makes an air fryer so helpful. We won't say that air fryers can completely replace microwaves, but there are some things they can beat microwaves at every time. Pizza can be reheated with melty cheese and without drying out the crust, not to mention being more energy efficient than using an oven for 1 or 2 slices. Leftover steamed vegetables can take on new flavors with a golden brown color and crunch, and breaded food like fried chicken or popcorn shrimp can be re-crisped with little more than a simple flip fry treatment. Add water to an air fryer drip pan to revive food. Pastries like croissants, chocolatines, scones, and biscuits as well as breads can be rendered inedible if not stored properly. We get it, mistakes happen, but don't throw any of it out the next day if you've got an air fryer. Similar to how adding a glass of water to a microwave can help with reheating certain leftovers, air fryers can be just the thing baked goods need to get a second life after drying out. By adding a few tablespoons of water to an empty drip pan, any baked good in your basket will be good as new in minutes. If you're on a budget, just imagine how cheap your next trip to the bakery can be with this hack as you buy up a bunch of their day-old inventory and bring it all back to life at home. You can use an air fryer to dehydrate foods while air fryers can be just the thing to rehydrate foods. Their ability to circulate heated air can make them effective dehydrators as well for small to moderate amounts of vegetables, fruits, and meats. Several models come with a built-in dehydration option, but even if you don't have an all-in-one air fryer that has that feature, it's still possible to preserve foods. By cooking thinly slicing food in single layers, a standard air fryer set to its lowest temperature setting, which can range anywhere from 150 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, for 15-minute intervals can deliver dehydrated results. Just be sure to check in on your food as you go with a couple shakes of the basket now and then. The whole process may not replace a dedicated dehydrator, but if you only plan on dehydrating food on occasion, an air fryer's better than buying a whole other single-purpose machine. It's important to note that if you're dehydrating with a standard air fryer that doesn't have a built-in option, dehydrating meats is not recommended. From cake to churros, air fryers can make desserts. Air fryers get looked to for their ability to cook up a wide range of savory food, but they're just as capable of cooking up a lot of stuff on the sweeter side. We're talking all kinds of recipes for donuts, cookies, fritters, pies, and churros. Even baking a cake is possible if you're using a larger air fryer that can fit a baking tin inside of it. The smaller baskets of air fryers suited for personal use may not be able to pull off something so grandiose, but making a few cookies at a time is doable. The only thing to keep in mind while using an air fryer as opposed to an oven for baking or frying sugary treats is that you'll likely need to flip your food halfway through the cooking process. So be sure to follow the recipe. Boil eggs in an air fryer without any water if you're the type to feel like you've got little to no time to prep a proper breakfast. We're talking no time to even boil water or sit down for cereal, or have something ready to grab and go when you wake up in the morning. You'll find a friend in your air fryer. Eggs can be both hard or soft-boiled, depending on how long you cook them for, and that means breakfast can be ready before you've finished washing up and getting dressed. Keep things simple by simply putting eggs in your basket preheated to 270 degrees Fahrenheit. Soft-boiled eggs require 10 minutes, medium-boiled eggs need 12 minutes, and hard-boiled eggs come from 15 minutes of cooking. However long you plan on cooking them, be sure to peel them after they've cooled off first, and make sure you've got some salt and pepper wherever you're heading so you can season your brekkie properly. Line your basket with aluminum foil or parchment paper. Find that using your air fryer can get a bit messy? Want to avoid your air fryer racks and drip pans from being scored by hot grease or juice from whatever you're cooking? It seems like basic common sense, but it's something that can often go overlooked in the course of using an air fryer. Lining your drip tray or your basket with aluminum foil can help with keeping things tidy. Because the foil isn't included with your device, it won't always be recommended by manufacturers, but it works and is especially helpful if you use your air fryer on a regular basis and want to keep things as clean as possible. If it's safe for cooking in an oven, it's safe for cooking in an air fryer, so the same goes for parchment paper. It may be better to use, as it has more nonstick properties than aluminum foil does, and it may be better for your health as well. A risk assessment study by the International Journal of Electrochemical Science found that small amounts of aluminum may leach into food while cooking is underway. Use aluminium foil to keep food from moving around. There's a great deal of food that requires a quick shake of your air fryer basket as you cook, but what if you want whatever you're cooking to remain stable as you pull the basket out to check on your food's progress? Whether you're cooking with loose ramekins filled with something liquid like scrambled eggs, or baked shellfish dishes like oysters Rockefeller and coquille Saint-Jacques, using crumpled aluminum foil as a support structure can help to keep food from moving around and avoid unnecessary spillage. Using foil like this can help in a pinch, and tends to be the more cost-effective option as well, helping you to avoid going out and buying from the growing number of air fryer-specific gadgets and accessories like cooking molds or racks. Depending on what you cook and provided there isn't too much spillage in the process, you should be able to reuse the aluminum foil structure you create as well. Prevent smoke by adding water to your air fryer's drip pan. Air fryers can be effective when it comes to cooking fatty foods like slices of bacon or hamburger patties. That said, unless you're regularly emptying out the drip pan as you go, and that's hard to do while an air fryer's in motion, you might find a lot of smoke coming out of your countertop cooker. If you find this is a common air fryer problem, try preemptively adding a tablespoon or two of water to your drip pan in order to prevent the grease from getting too hot and smoking. It's probably best for your health that you're cutting down on smoking grease as well. According to Serious Eats, fat starts to break down once it passes its smoke point, and that means the release of both free radicals, unstable atoms that can damage your cells, and acrolein, the chemical that gives burnt foods an unpleasant flavor and aroma. If a piece of your air fryer breaks, consider replacement parts. Let's say you bought an air fryer model that you like, but a part of it breaks down over time and constant usage, and your warranty is null and void. Fan blades get chipped and cracked, the basket could break from being dropped one too many times, or the drip pan could become scored black by hot grease. There's a number of things that could break, wear down, or go wrong with a machine you use often, and your first instinct is to get frustrated. While it's understandable to consider either replacing your air fryer or buying an entirely new model when something isn't working, consider contacting the manufacturer for replacement parts. Depending on the model you purchased, there may be parts for sale or an option to have a repair person service your machine. This means one less appliance in the landfill, and the results will probably be cheaper than buying a whole new machine outright.